Well, hello, I'm down here at Bourbon Buzz Cuts and also beer, and with everybody doing a lot of virtual activities now with the scare of the coronavirus, which is totally understandable. But next week I was going to host a craft beer tasting event, and it's probably going to be more than 10 individuals, so we decided to cancel that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with doing some type of a virtual event when it comes to tasting different beers. And maybe some of you will join me here on Facebook Live with this. And actually, I mentioned Bourbon Buzz Cuts and beer. This is actually down in my basement. And we've hosted several events down here. But like I said, I hope some of you can join me on some of these different beers that I have here. I've got several different kinds and different colors and tastes. I've got down here on the very end here, I've got New Glarus Spotted Cow. That's one of those favorites out of Wisconsin that tastes pretty darn good. Right here, the second one, I've got Black Butte Porter. It's a Black Butte Porter. It's nice and dark. It's a 5.2 alcohol content and a 30 IBU, it says here on the side. And it's actually brewed in Bend, Oregon. Oregon, it's a really neat place, but Bend, Oregon, exciting place. A lot of young people there. This next one here, a little lighter. My wife and I picked this up last time we were in Kentucky, and it's a Kentucky Peach Barrel Wheat Ale. And we were at one of the local establishments there in Louisville and tried some of this, and it was pretty good. So we thought, well, we better get a case of it or a 12-pack of it. It was easy to drink, and it's actually brewed right in Kentucky in Louisville. And let's see if we can see what it's got here. Alcohol percent, 8%. So it's up there pretty good for a lighter colored beer. It's a wheat ale. And down here on the end is a recent favorite. I just bought a couple of these not long ago. Confluence, down in downtown Des Moines, did a tapping party. It's called 50s Dad, and it's a stout. It's really good. It's a bourbon barrel aged milk stout with coffee, vanilla beans, and chocolate. And my dog has joined us. And some of you that have come over to Bourbon Buzz Cuts know that I have a little dog that likes to get crazy sometimes. Where'd you go? Well, she ran up. There she is. She ran off somewhere. But anyway, I'm going to try some of these, and hopefully you at home are trying some of your own. We can do this together, since we can't all get together for events, but this is kind of a neat way to do this, since for the next several weeks, I think we're going to be doing a lot of virtual type things, and maybe in a few days or this weekend or next week, I can do some bourbon tasting. I have several bourbons here, as you can see, and they all have different tastes and flavors and textures and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to start with the Spotted Cow and see how that goes down. I've had this before. We've actually handed it out on trick-or-treat night or beggar's night to the adults that come by, and they all seem to really like it. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's good stuff. It's a lighter beer. It's got a lower alcohol content, and I wouldn't really compare it to Busch Light or Budweiser or something Bud Light, but it is a lighter beer. It's got a body to it, an actual good taste, more than just plain water that's been brewed that some of our lighter beers seem to taste like. But this is a good beer. This would be a good tailgating beer that you can drink quite a few of them without and still be able to enjoy the game after you've had a few. Good stuff. these nice little taster glasses. I picked them up at a local corks and caps event that the Ankeny Chamber of Commerce puts on, and have done it a few times and kept my cups, and they make a really good sampler type thing to use for beer sampling. And now that I've opened all of these, I'm going to probably have to finish them. But first, we're going to go through these, and hopefully you, like I said, hopefully you're joining with having tasted some of your own beers. Or maybe next time we can do this, put something out ahead of time, and we can enjoy some beers together like we normally would, since all the bars are closed right now, and restaurants. All right, next is the, I think it's the porter. Yeah, the Black Butte Porter. It's a heavier beer, but it's only 5.2, which isn't too bad. Ah, yeah, this is good too. It's got kind of a nice aftertaste that you can tell that it's one of those thicker porter beers that you really like to drink. Those of you that like the thicker, darker beers. And the IBU is only 30, so it's not really got a lot of strong tart taste to it. Complex porter that's more than meets the eye. Pretty good stuff. That's it there. Black Butte Porter out of Bend, Oregon. Nice, good dark beer. Luckily, Julie and I had supper just before this, so I do have a full stomach that I'm drinking out, which makes it so much easier. If you've ever drank on an empty stomach, it can not be a good idea. This is good beer. A little bolder than the Spotted Cow, but that Spotted Cow is really good. This Black Butte is another good beer. That's another one that I could sit down and enjoy a bottle or two. Now next is the Kentucky Peach Barrel Wheat Ale. And I doubt that it's going to have a peach taste. Maybe it does. I don't know. I can't remember when we tried this, but it was pretty good. So we decided to get a 12-pack of it. American style wheat ale, brewed with natural peach flavors, and aged in oak bourbon barrels. Boy, these bourbon barrels turn into a really good aftermarket after they're used in Kentucky or made bourbon with, because you can't, any Kentucky bourbon, you can only use that oak barrel once, and it has to be a brand new oak barrel that you age bourbon in. So once it's used once, they have to do something with that barrel. So a lot of breweries have started using those oak barrels to age beer in, to give it a little bit of a bourbon taste. But this ought to be interesting with a peach barrel wheat ale. It's actually a bourbon barrel, and it's not a real dark beer, so it's probably fairly light. Yeah, I can taste some peach in there. I can taste a little bit of bourbon. Luckily, I've got a few more bottles of this. This is pretty good too. But there's not a lot of beers I don't like. There are a few. I tried a beer. It's called the Mexican, and it was brewed with jalapeno. And I couldn't even finish the glass. It was kind of nasty. It was quite interesting. Hopefully some of you are enjoying some of your beers too, since we're doing a virtual happy hour, I guess. Happy hour actually started, what time? 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock happy hour. How's that? That's a late happy hour. Try some more of this peach ale, peach barrel wheat ale. It's pretty good. It's even got a nice aroma to it. It might be a little fruitier than I like, but it's not too bad. Pretty good. I think I like the Black Butte a little better. The Spotted Cow is good. All right, next. This is a favorite. Luckily, I bought several of these. It was a one-time seasonal brew that Confluence made. They'll experiment on different things. And 50s Dad, Confluence Brewing, a bourbon barrel, another bourbon barrel aged brew, milk stout with coffee, vanilla beans, and chocolate. Those are like all my favorites. Love chocolate. Vanilla, it's not too bad. Coffee, love coffee, so this could be a morning beer, right? And bourbon barrel aged. This has got an 8% alcohol, so it's 16 proof. I think me and a buddy sat down and we drank 2 of these each, and we were feeling pretty good after just those. But it's a nice dark thick beer. If that's what you like, yeah, this is a nice thick beer. Look at that. I don't know if you could stand a straw up in that, but it's a nice thick beer, and it's really good. I guess you could say it's one of those morning beers. One of those will fill you up. Oh, I can smell the coffee right there. Yeah, it's like having coffee in the morning. Oh, it's good. It's good and smooth. Yes. I don't know if they're going to keep brewing this. It was like a one-time run, 50s Dad. Maybe they will, since they went ahead and made cans. So I usually don't like to drink beer out of a can, but it's good stuff. Yeah, that's good. But we'll probably do this again. Maybe some different beers. Like I said, we can try some bourbons. I got lots of different Kentucky bourbons, and there is a certain way to drink bourbon or taste bourbon. It's something that you just don't throw down as a shot. It's one of those things you want to sit around and sip. And I've even got a little smoker. It's a hand smoker for smoking bourbon, or if you want to smoke other things, meats or whatever. Maybe we'll do some smoked bourbon. My wife and I went to a restaurant about a week or 2 ago, and I ordered a smoked old fashioned. And what they did was they made the entire old fashioned, and they poured it all into an empty bottle. Let's see if I've got an empty bottle here. They poured it all into an empty bottle. And so it was just enough for one glass of old fashioned. Then they filled the bottle with smoke. And then the waitress delivered the bottle to my table. Smoky bottle with a little bit of, the old fashioned in the bottom. And then brought me a glass. Brought me an old fashioned glass with a big square ice cube in it. And a cherry. I think it had a cherry too. So basically all I had to do was let it sit there for a little while, and the smoke infused with the old fashioned, because they'd already mixed it up with the sugar and the bitters and the bourbon. So I let it sit there for a few minutes, and once I felt, yep, that's about how smoky I want it, went ahead and poured it in there, and the waitress come and took the bottle. And I had a smoked old fashioned. That was one of the different ways I've seen it served. I have seen the smoked old fashioned served where they smoke it into the glass, and they'll just put a coaster on top of it and let it smoke like that, and then they'll serve it to you like that. But I think the bottle was a neat way to do that. So I may try that myself, and maybe we'll do that on one of our virtual happy hours here, since the bars are closed till the end of the month, which could get to be a while. I need to finish this 50s Dad, because it's really good. Yeah, this is not a beer that you want to tailgate with, unless you're just having one beer for tailgate. But if you want to tailgate, you know, the Spotted Cow is really good for that. And some of those that like to drink a lot of beer at a tailgate usually go to Busch Light or Bud Light. Yeah, I can see that, because you could probably drink 3 or 4 of those and not feel anything, because you're kind of drinking water. You have to go to the bathroom a lot, but it's a good beer to socialize around and talk around and do a tailgate or whatever and drink a couple of those. But they're pretty light. Maybe that's why they're so popular, and it's inexpensive. This 50s Dad was not inexpensive. For a 4-pack, I think it was about 12 bucks. 12 bucks for a 4-pack. So for 12 bucks, I can get probably 24 Busch Lights. But it depends on what you're doing, where you're going, what you like to taste, what your preference is, and all that good stuff. But we've tried these 4. They're 4 good ones, and I think I'm probably gonna, well, I'm gonna finish them all because I have to. I've opened them, right? So they need to be drank. And it's 8 o'clock now. Probably take me a few hours to finish these. And thanks for joining me. If anybody else wants to join me next time, I'm not sure when that's going to be, but maybe I'll put something out as, hey, we're getting ready to do another happy hour, or a virtual happy hour online, do some craft beer tasting, maybe some bourbon tasting. Here at Bourbon Buzz Cuts, maybe we'll fire up the barber chair, and because I know it's getting really hard to find a place to get a haircut these days, because a lot of those are closing down, because you're in somebody's personal space for the next couple of weeks. I got pretty good at haircuts. I did a couple of deployments with the military, which are, you know, a year long to a year and a half long, and somebody's got to cut hair when you're out in the middle of nowhere and there's no barber around. So I got pretty good at it, but I don't have any kind of a license. Maybe that's something I'll do in retirement, get a barber license and cut hair and serve beer, who knows. All right, well, I want to thank you for joining me and tasting some different beers there. Maybe we'll do this again, have some others, do some bourbon or whatever. But till we see each other again, thank you and stay thirsty.